this. So we have a virtual copy of the recording. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on another of our JHTM webinars. This is a series that we're doing for the journal. We've got a couple of distinguished speakers who are with me today, and Professor Joseph Chia, who's trying to come in. He's obviously on a bit of a road trip through rural part of China. So if he doesn't come in, we'll have his recording available and make that accessible to everyone here as well. I just want to send greetings coming from Australia. It's the last day of October already, and we're heading into November and December and hoping that everyone has had a good year. My name is Dr. Aaron Tam, and I'm also the book reviews editor at the Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Management. And today it is my privilege to have two distinguished guests and also Prof. Joseph Chia joining us in discussing what I call the rules of engagement, looking at the governance and social impacts around the notion of sustainable tourism, just to give us a bit of a snapshot on what has happened, obviously, since we've become more endemic to things like COVID-19, but other political situations and natural disasters continue to confront us. And so hearing from them in different parts of the Asia-Pacific region to give us a bit of an insight of what's happening, what government policies have worked or perhaps haven't worked, and perhaps where to from here moving into 2025 and beyond. So I might start with you, Eve, to perhaps do a quick introduction of yourself and perhaps then talking a little bit about what's happening on the landscape in Macau.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, and thank you for the invitation. My name is Eve Lianping Ren, and I'm based in Macau University of Tourism. The institute name has just changed from IFTM Institute to a university in my side. And I've been in Macau for 10 years, so I've been observing also the tourism development in this city, and it has been amazing. You don't know that Macau is a very, very small city. It's only about 33 square kilometers with less than 1 million. That's 0.7, less than 0.7 million people in this city. So obviously, COVID has done a lot of change to the city and especially the tourism industry in the city. But if we look further back, like 10 years ago, the landscape has also changed a lot. You probably know that Macau is a city known for its gaming industry. Gaming used to be the main money maker. Well, still, gaming is the dominant industry or money maker in Macau, but things are changing, especially after COVID. Now people are obviously, spending their money more cautiously, and the visitor composition or source market, they are gradually changing, and people are spending less in casinos, but they are spending more on other sectors. I can give you a lot of numbers along the talk. I'll just give you some example. Like before COVID, the number of restaurants in the city is about 2,700. Okay, number of restaurants. But now, after COVID, the number almost doubled. So that is to say, people are enjoying more of the gastronomy aspect, in after COVID compared to before COVID. They are spending more time in restaurants looking for good food instead of indulging themselves in the casino. So this is only one of the example, and I can share more along the way.
Thank you, Eve, and interesting of doubling the number of restaurants, and obviously in that space, the entrepreneurship or gastronomy comes up as a topic, and we'll come back to that because I want to give time also to see if Kay, from her perspective in Thailand, Kay, maybe you like to show a short introduction of yourself and also what you've observed since the borders have reopened to Thailand in particular?
Thank you very much for inviting me as well. So it's a very excited session as well. And thank for inviting to join this session too. So in my part, sorry. So I'm from the Mahidol University International College, the under Tourism and Hospitality Management Divisions. We've been supporting Thai governments over than 35 years already, and we are the first international program in Thailand as well, who focus on the tourism and hospitality. And I think our university focus more on research scheme, and also being a part of the consultation or consultancy project, which is work closely with the TAT, Tourism Authority of Thailand, and also with the Department of Tourism. And linked to the what's Thailand situation, I think people knows where Thailand is, and after COVID-19, they have the different chains to focus on the what's it called, responsible tourism, more domestic market. So because in the past we more focus on international market, and we realize that after COVID-19 it is pretty much all everything crap, it's like supplier size, have big issues of of managing the crisis. And Thailand or tourism's more focused on domestic market now today, and then they more focus on the actually, before COVID-19, they were more focused on the China market because it's the number one market in Thailand. And then they have Europeans market and also Russians. But now, because we cannot rely on only international market, so then Thailand start to positioning a new positioning, high values and sustainable tourism position. Then all the campaigns that we promoting at the moment, it will link to a second tier destination. It will link to how focus on the responsible travelers, or try to keep more focused on the local communities, what we done with the very good model is about community-based tourism, how the money or financials or economics scale will more focus on the local economy levels. So I think that's the mainstream of what Thailand doing at the moment as well. So that's the first ground of.
Thanks, Kay. Since you've got obviously the top of mind looking at the diversification of the visitor market from an international to a more domestic base, and I'll come to Eve in a minute because it's a different dynamic altogether. What have you seen in terms of governmental policies to deal with things like over tourism? Because people normally fly in through Bangkok, stay a couple of days, and then move on. Have there been different measures? You talked about community-based tourism or sustainable tourism. What has worked to alleviate the threat of something like over tourism in the case of Thailand?
Okay, because the reasons of domestic market, and I think they have several measures that government right now promoting. Give example, they try to promote second tier destinations, because before, you probably know, Thailand people always go to Chiang Mai, go to the big city like Phuket, Bangkok, Pattaya, like that. But because we realize that if we only focus on these mainstream, that will not gonna be it's not gonna be good for the sustainability in overall, in particular to the local economics. So that's why the scheme of developing new destination that we call second tier destination. Right now we have 43 provinces that we promoting, very small city, very small town. And that's what TAT working on it. And they have about 5 year plan as well, to just focus on the community-based gastronomy journey, wellness tourism as well. But wellness tourism is not only focused on hospitals or wellness center, but more focused on like the local wellness, kind of local wisdom. So that's just go down deep to like, what is the local wisdom in each area. And they come up to have like example of, the Thai textile journey. So into the local area. So that's they have different types of products that right now the international market or even domestic market interested to have or experience. And in particular to when we talk about over tourism, because of, right now we scale down to those small provinces, then that will help a lot for the supporting the over tourism to let the demands go to the small cities. So it's kind of split wider. When the tour operator create the journey, they will start from the big town, but go to like, 5 days, 7 days to the smaller town. So then they can make sure that the CBT or communities or the gastronomy or another small entrepreneur can generate income from the small from the new concept or the new measures that Thailand try to overcome with the conditions of the over tourism. And I'm sure that everyone knows that Thailand's when they have like when they have like high demand, people don't want to come to Thailand as well. That's why right now we have a lot of training about beyond carry capacities, which is linked to the national park, linked to the different destination products, community based or even the TCEP, the organization that focus more on like exhibition events, national event bureaus. They will try to focus on like supporting the locals economies, in particular to the community-based tourism. So that's why right now the game changed. If you are the big city at the moment, you're not gonna be highlight, but you're gonna be a partially of the promoting the small town. So that's just one thing that we help for the over tourism during the time of the high season. And then another issue is about the the tourist experience. So right now they try to come up with the idea of visitor management more than like setting up like the area base, but more focused on like how to come up with a new standard that that the tour operator or the people who bring a big scope of people or can engage and specify to the code of conduct of how to deal with the tour operators.
Thank you for that, and quite insightful to understand the dynamics of community-based tourism, but empowerment and entrepreneurship in that kind of triumvirate arrangement to move tourists and have the tour operators take them obviously away from the bigger cities. So thank you for your insights and sharing. Eve, what have you noticed then? Obviously, you've touched a little bit on the growth of gastronomy in Macau, but domestic markets are talked about differently because Macau is part of the Greater Bay Area and part of like the wider China market as well. Has there been different governmental initiatives or strategies to deal with potential over-tourism threats, or have you seen growth in number of visitors to Macau since the pandemic was managed?
Yes, and that's a really very timely discussion about it. Now, for over tourism, tourism we definitely want. This is something that the Macau relies so much on, and also the neighboring cities, they want tourism. But the problem is that the Macau is too small, only 33 square kilometers, and before COVID in 2019, almost 40 million tourists visited Macau. And that's a lot, considering the small size. And at that time, I remember in 2019, the major attractions like St. Paul's Ruin, you cannot even get the way through most of the days. So one thing, it's very good. Now, economy-wise, it's good. But then another thing is that we when it is too crowded, tourist experience is compromised. And also, residents, life is affected. So, and, if you look at, in Macau, there are so many good attractions, like more than 20 heritage sites, but many of them are less visited. So one of the things that the government is trying to do is to dilute, to divert the tourists, not, don't always go to these few number of attractions, but go to somewhere else as well. So they are doing a lot of planning and also strategies, to introduce the tourists, to guide them, to different areas in this city, because this city has a lot of, sites that is worth visiting. And another thing they're trying to do is that they can, we can actually collaborate with neighboring cities. Okay, the government is trying to promote the concept of one trip, a few stops together. So when people visit Macau, they can also visit Hong Kong. They can also visit Zhuhai, which is only a border away. And more recently, there is an area, in Guangdong province called Hengqin. And that Hengqin place is, the size of Hengqin is 3 times that of Macau. And that place is developed into a deep cooperation zone. Deep cooperation zone means Macau and Guangdong province jointly manage this whole place, so that the capacity of Macau can be significantly enlarged. And that since 2021, a lot of substantive policies have been put in action. Like, for example, Macau people can now work in the deep cooperation zone, enjoying all the tax treatment and other things that we enjoy in Macau. And then a new neighborhood has been developed in Hengqin. People can buy their property there while do the mortgage in Macau. And also a lot of new kind of initiatives in terms of tourism, event, people are doing one event, 2 places sort of thing. So, and I believe with this Hengqin place, Hengqin being developed, and so substantively, this capacity issue can be relieved largely. And you should know that in 2023, the tourist arrival has come up to 2/3, more than 2/3 of that before COVID-19. And people are predicting that 2024 is expected to get close to the number of 2019, which is a big number. I have compared the tourist arrival number with in Macau with that of Thailand. Macau, such a small place, and almost the same with Thailand, a very big place, right? So so hopefully this can be solved. And another issue is that because it's Macau is too small, when tourists come to Macau, they don't spend a lot of time. Before COVID, the average time that tourists spend in Macau is 1.2 nights, 1.2 nights only. Before that, it was even shorter. But now the trend is that it's getting longer. This is a really big, very, very good trend, and also people would love to to see that.
Thanks, Eve. Some, again, interesting insights about co-management of destinations and allowing labor force and skilled talent to be able to work and enjoying the tax benefits in terms of having strategies to deal with things like over-tourism, and the dynamics, again, as I mentioned, would be very different to what Thailand has, being having a country, a capital city, and second or third tier cities. I'm just going to stay on that topic, Eve, about you mentioning visitor profiles, because I think different countries are now examining this, whether the visitor profile has changed. We know that the cost of, as what Kay has alluded to also, the cost of running any tourism hospitality business has gone up. The cost of travel has gone up. So in your observation and research, does that also mean that the profile of visitors to Macau and surrounds is also
Yeah.
of a different high net worth market? Are we observing that trend?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Now, so in terms of source market, geographically, well, would Macau definitely would want to have more international tourists, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to promote in different international locations, trying to attract them. But up till this moment, the international market, resuming, they have not resumed very well yet. If you look at some of the major international market, like for example Japan, before COVID 2019, it was 295 million, but in 2023, it was only 75 million. So that's not million, thousand. Okay, before COVID, 2019, it was 295,000, but in 2023, it was 75,000. So the number, is yet to be resumed. Probably because of the cross-border or visa issue, and people probably still not have a lot of plan for international trip, but and also probably because of others. So currently, in 2023 and 2024, the main market is still mainland China and Hong Kong. So this is the current situation geographically. In terms of segments of tourists, this is a very good topic as well, because for such a small place and with all the premium facilities, like you should know that Macau is a city that has the best hotel or hospitality facilities in the world. In 2023, Macau became the city with the most number of Forbes 5-star hotel in the world, surpassing that of London. And for this kind of facility and image, people really would want to attract more premium customers, people who can spend more money. But then, this is really a dilemma, because on the one hand, they are trying to, rely less on the casino side, but on the other hand, they would like to try to attract more premium customers who can spend more. So, that's why they are doing a lot of, strategies, trying to create, more high profile quality products, so that people, to create an image that this is a very good place for you to spend more time and more money, and also enjoy the best quality hospitality. So this is some of the things they're trying to do.
Thanks, Eve. And I'm just going to come back to Kay on that as well. Kay, with the shift in focus, as you mentioned earlier, is high net worth tourists something that Thailand's continuing to pursue, or is it more of a different strategy depending on where they are as a second or third tier city? I think you're muted. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah. So your question is about what the different strategy? Can you repeat again?
Yeah. So my question was for the different parts of Thailand and the different communities, whether you're first tier or smaller tier cities, is there a different in terms of the visitor profile that they're trying to attract? For example, is it a focus on the high net worth tourists, the wellness tourists, or the luxury tourists, or are there different types of tourists that the different regions themselves want to attract?
Okay. So actually they have the different segment as well. I think maybe I did not mentioned clearly about this as well. They have right now they segment classically by location. I think this is the classic case that I think all right now we still use the case of European market. Right now the Middle East market is very popular for Thailand at the moment for the wellness tourism. But and also they have another segment from Australia, and also with the China market. So they have the kind of location base, but on the location base, they have the different segment, and we can see the people who are interested to go with the second tier destination will be the same group because of it's the strategic plan. So that means mostly different continentals who come to visit Thailand, it will be promoting for the second tier destination. Means if they come as a FIT, so then they right now the TAT will promote the second tier destination, and we have the market research to find that the people who come to visit Thailand, they are repeat customer. They're not the first time customer. So that's why they just want to go to somewhere else that's new, and also is not the same place. And mostly they will connect it with another country as well, not only in Thailand. So they're gonna take like, if they come for the long haul flight, they might have like 2 weeks in Asia, in our area. So we'll start from Thailand, go with a small city, and then across the board to go to Laos or across to Cambodia to have like experience, or even Malaysia and then back. So that's just for FIT. But if they come with a tour operator, in particular to European market, they are more responsible travelers. So this one, I think maybe you heard about the news of EU that they announced that it's the new measures that in the next 2 years, if you are working with the tour operator or you are DMO who target to EU market, you have to get the certified of the being as a sustainable certified, so that you need to have the sustainable standard. So that's why right now Thailand, for EU market, all the hotel, local hotel, international chain hotel, or even CBT, community-based tourism, who work with the tour operators from EU, like Travel Life or Cook, Thomas Cook, then they have to adapt themselves to follow the green standard. That's certified by GSTC or certified by the green destination or under the GSTC certified. So something like this. So if we're talking about the EU market, it's gonna be some kind of small place, but it's gonna be significant impact in particular to the responsible for the community or another sectors like supporting the local entrepreneur, things like that. And for the Middle East, this one is a very emerging market, which is they pay more attention on wellness. They love to come to Thailand. Even they have like Malaysia as well. Malaysia is number one. That Middle East will go. We are kind of second and third, choice. But when they come to Thailand, they are more luxury. They kind of luxury premium segment. So they will select medical tourism, wellness tourism, and also we right now promoting soft power. Maybe you heard about Thailand promoting soft powers, which is linked to like food, linked to they have soft power defined of maybe I just try to food, theme, fashion, festival, and fight. So they also promote boxing, promote Songkran festival, promote Thai textiles, fashions, using like Thai craft and things like that, and also theme as well. That they right now promoting theme. So that's why we have a lot of the films directors or films or movies that wanna choose Thailand as a location, and then later will focus on like the film journeys for the tour operator who interested to come. And I think most highlight is about Thai food. So that is also connected with the wellness as well. So and also we also highlight herbs like local wisdoms or even massage. So this something that is more likely to be kind of local wisdom that we want to highlight to promote the destination.
Thanks for that, and interesting to see the diversification of the inbound markets and the attractions and experiences that they have. I think that's one strategy that many have learned over the pandemic, of not having everything in one basket, to have diversification of risk, potentially because of things that's happening around. And as you mentioned, Malaysia could be also leading the case because of other externalities, things like the exchange rate and costs or value proposition. So that's one area as well, though I think Macau plays in a very different league compared to what Thailand or Malaysia or other destinations do. Okay, on that note, I know you've mentioned communities and villages. We've heard a lot from both Eve and yourself discuss areas around the enhancement of certifications of sustainable qualifications or endorsements, accreditations for operators. We've heard you mention a little bit about responsible tourists from the consumption perspective. I just wanted to get you to share perhaps some of the opportunities or challenges from things of community readiness, because we don't really hear much about destinations preparing communities for this new group of tourists coming to visit the village. Because traditionally they are agriculture, farming, sometimes mining or other forms of primary industries. And now you've got almost this steep learning curve in the space of what has been probably 2 or 3 years to deal with these people called tourists. And I wonder, what have you noticed? What are some of the interesting or challenges that have been raised over these last few years?
Okay, so because of the strategic plan of Thailand changed after COVID-19, so it's more like responsible tourism destination. So that's why our position is linked to the kind of high values. So we talk about soft powers. So but soft power mostly linked to the community. Festival, traditional local wisdom, and textiles and classic traditional things. So that's why right now I think from this year to the next 5 years, so because it's reached to the 2030 as well, we have our pandemics, and also because we Thailand we far behind on the sustainability, in particular to the ranking of TTCI, which is linked to travel tourism competitive index. Sustainability index is dropped down. So that's why right now Thailand try to focus more on like sustainable standard. In this case, then they have the different products. One is community-based tourism. I'm doing with the Department of Tourism this year, we create the new revised standard of CBT up to focus more on green destination criteria or GSTC criteria as well, because we try to mapping alignments between Thai standard and also the international standard, because as I mentioned earlier, that a tour operator have like force that if we have EU market, we have to be responsible, and we try to see the potential of how we can change from the standard, how to revise the standard and put the level of people who can engage and can be motivated to have EU market. So that's why it's actually come up with the curves that community-based tourism, they done a lot of things, and they happy to do that because it's actually can make them feel proud of that. It actually, one thing is about inspiration to let them feel that they are part of, a plan, and also is they let be a part of the best practice to showcase from Thailand. So that's why right now we have like about 10 to 20 community-based tourism that is under the new revised standard. So this is one of the community-based tourism, but then have another like the next 2 or 3 years, we're gonna change homestay. We have our eco lodge standard. We have like tour operator that we're gonna follow the travel life, which is another accreditation for the tour operators. So that's we gonna work together in different ministry from the culture, environments, and also like Ministry of Tourism to work together to come up with integrated planning. We look at Singapore as a model as well. So that's we work with the Professor Eunice to see like how we look at the Singaporean as like integrated planning. So right now Thailand move forward to see how the standard can be lived up to accept from the international market. So that is another level that we are doing from this year and the next 5 years to make sure that we can reach to the better sustainability status. So this is that's why I think this year and last year we means like all the ministry, TAT, who have parts of the tourism in different roles. They have to work together to see how we can lift up our image, to re-image Thailand, not to be only like cheap place to come, but it's gonna be like high values, and we can also target the luxury and also highlight the locality products. So this is what I can explain at the moment.
Thanks, Kay. Interesting looking at equipping the community towards sustainability goals and outcomes and benchmarking that in the likes of what Singapore and what Thailand can achieve. Just going to pass the floor back to Eve. And Eve, from your perspective of community resilience or development as well, because not just from a gastronomy point of view, what are your observations on the ground? Is community happy to engage in this new world of tourism from a Macau perspective, or are there some resistance or challenges that need to be addressed?
Yes, definitely. Well, as you all know, that Macau actually in 2017, Macau gained the honorable name, honor of being a creative city of gastronomy from UNESCO. So that is huge honor, and that is that is something. But of course, Macau is really a place of very good taste, and I myself are deeply drawn by this aspect. But to many entrepreneurs and residents, this is also a confidence boosting kind of gesture and honor. So and a lot of people are convinced that Macau is a good place for gastronomy. So that's why in the very short time period, so many small and medium-sized restaurants they were established in the past 5 years. I can see the passion from the residents, from the community to engage in this aspect, and also not just restaurants, but many food festivals as well, and gastronomy fairs, the food festivals, being implemented in the past few years, attracting a lot of people. And so this signage has been clearer to everybody that they come to Macau not just for the gaming centers, but also for good food. I like Macau a lot, not just because of its economy, tourism, but also because of the residents. And actually, the residents are very supportive the community is very supportive of all the initiatives that the government is trying to develop. Now, because Macau has always been like that, so there's no, significant change among, the community and also residents. But what they are supporting is that the government is trying to develop 1+4 kind of economic diversification strategy has been developing this for like the past 7 to 8 years, and this strategy has becoming clearer and clearer among the residents and community. So that is to say, apart from all the policy work, they talk less about gaming now. They talk more about developing the city into a world center of tourism and leisure. So this is very, very clear positioning, and then this 1+4 thing. One means the center for tourism and leisure, world center of tourism leisure, and then the other four parts are medical tourism, wellness tourism or health tourism. Okay, so health industry is especially the Chinese traditional medicine. This is something they're trying to push as well, and the modern finance, and also the high technology, and then event and commerce, and culture and sports, etc. And these are four areas supplementing the tourism and the leisure aspect. So, and all the policy works I'm reading now is around these 1+4 thing.
Thanks for that, Eve. And I think, again, we see a more strategic leverage of government actions across different markets to also diversify away from the casino economy, moving into health and well-being, looking into gastronomy, Macau, and even in the case of Thailand, looking at business events and the MICE sector as well, looking at festivals and events. So you've got different poolers to try and attract different markets, and whether it be high yield or luxury markets. So again, an interesting one, and we're glad to hear also that the social support from the community, giving more stronger sense of place and the wanting to be working in the sector, and perhaps that's reflecting in also the entrepreneurship that you see in the number of restaurants owned by locals and offering the different types of gastronomy cuisines on offer within the city. So thank you for that. Just going to go to Kay now. Kay, obviously we looking at the past and what's in the present. The last bits I'll get you to mention or look at some bold predictions. What will Thailand and particularly social aspects of tourism look like come 2030, which isn't too far away. It's another 6 years. And I wonder, do you have your pulse on certain research areas or where you think might be important focus areas for Thai tourism over the next 6 years?
So what should be the research topic that will be interesting for Thailand for the next 5 years, right? Next 5 to 6 years, right? Okay. So I think maybe what I observed at the moment, I realized that the CBT still, and I think it's about how to look at the new generation, adapt from the CBT model to be the social enterprise. So I think because in Thailand, the CBT model is actually more like, parents' generation. And right now we have the issue of, how to turn the CBT to be more like social enterprise, which is like for the young models like that. So it's going to be like products, services, and something that will be more creative for the new generation who wanna support the CBT, because right now it's quite saturated in the community-based tourism market in Thailand, because they have like about 200 or 300 villages. But the problem is, I think we found at the same story is about how the new generation will look back and try to protect the local wisdom or to leave or to come back to follow their parent generation to remain the CBT models. So that's the first one. And the second one is about how we use the climate action in Thailand. We talk about Thailand, so we talk about tourism and climate action. Because I think at the moment we try to set up the center to be centralized, to be a coaching center for the tourism expert or the local guru who can help to develop a quality destination. I mean, the people have defined a different quality destination, but in fact, they need to have a clear context of how we can go to the same page, because right now they have a different idea and concept. So I think we pull back and see that this is what is Thailand direction. So I think the research will see how we understand the current situation, which is pretty much hard at the moment, like flooding in Thailand. We have every year's floodings and heavy raining. So I think all things that affect people life, and they know that is urgent, but there's nobody try to go deep down about what it should be the research, what should be the climate action trackings for Thailand system, in particular to tourism sector. And then we look at the resources, we look at all the risk factors that will link to the tourism management. So I think that is the second issue that we can think that it will be interesting for. And another thing that Thailand right now are pretty much focus on it is about cooperative governance. We talking about generative governments, like how we can look at the co-creative or governance, how government can work together in the integrated planning, because we have the different budget and we have different objective, we have different KPI, and we realize that when we look at sustainability, the government have a different understanding of sustainability, and they might have the different KPI. So how the government can work together and come up with the integrated plan which is effective. So this is some new things that we're gonna highlight for the next 2-3 years, because it just start. We also have the unit of integrative governance, but seem and we talk about tourism sector, we have so many ministry who come and work, and they have their own agenda. So that's why I think the researcher may focus on how to come up with the co-creative governance and highlight these to be highlight Thailand to be such a model as well. So I think this is what I think is important to look through these 3 example. I would say right now I can think about three issue, but I think they have more. But I mean, right now I intuit these 3 issue that I have experiences.
Thanks so much, Kay, and obviously very pressing issues looking at changing climate landscapes on destination governance and policy making. So thank you for that. Back to you, Eve. What would be obviously in your focal areas or things that you think would be needed from a research perspective from Macau or social tourism impacts over the next, say, 5 years?
Okay. Well, obviously, government would like to see research done around the strategy focus. But from my perspective, and also one of the area that the government has highlighted is the cultural legacy in Macau. Now, actually, Macau is a post-colonial destination, and Macau was under the governance of Portugal for more than 400 years before 1999, and that and Macau, and given its location, has really rich cultural legacy and heritage. But the thing is, some precious aspects are getting either diluted or lost. Like, for example, the Macanese cuisine okay, which is one of the most famous cuisine that Macau, got the title with. So, but then we did a study about how why Macanese cuisine is getting diluted, and it got published 2 years ago. So, and we found that because the community, the Macanese community, Macanese means the offspring of Portuguese and Macau local, during those 400 years. So, but this population is shrinking. Now only like 6,000 to 8,000 left around the world, But Macanese, cultural is very unique. The cuisine, and they have their own language. They have their own festival and all those things. But these, very, very valuable things, they are getting lost or diluted. So one of the most urgent thing is that we need to identify, and preserve those cultural heritage in Macau, because this is a very small place, and people's a lot of attention are in the economy side, and some people should be focusing on this cultural legacy. And there are a lot of things, apart from academic research, there can be a lot of social entrepreneurship and practical projects can be done to safeguard these heritage. Some of our colleagues, like one of my colleagues has been doing quite a lot of projects together with the community, and to revitalize some of the heritage. For example, one of the former prison, there are not a lot of criminals nowadays in Macau. So these kind of places can be utilized to convert into coffee shop, something like that. So a lot of efforts and financial input can be done to focus on safeguarding, protecting this heritage. And I would say Macau is doing quite well in this aspect currently, because the government is well aware of this, and a lot of policy, for example, in evaluating all the casino companies or the major hospitality companies in Macau, one of the evaluation is that they should do CSR activity, to protect those legacies. So each one of the 6 big major companies, they claim territory, they claim areas, in Macau, to protect certain realms. And this is taking effect. For the past 3 years, we have been observing this is going on well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Eve, and thank you again also, Kay, for your inputs. Some interesting insights there of areas that perhaps researchers and those listening in or to this webinar can actually think about in terms of collaboration, looking at different countries and how they look at cultural legacies or climate change adaptation and so on. So I want to thank you both for your insights. As mentioned, Professor Joseph Chia will put his recording to this, so we'll be able to attach that and stitch that into one video. Sends his apologies for having to commute into areas where perhaps infrastructure is not as easy to get through a video. In the last couple of minutes before we end on the hour, I just wanted to open this time to the floor. There may be some questions that might be coming through from the audience here. So if anyone's got a question, you can use the chat, or you can switch your mics on and ask our speakers, Kay or Eve.
Aaron, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Mustafa.
Thanks for your presentation, and actually the discussion, very insightful discussion about what is going on in Thailand and Macau. My question actually is about the role of not only local community, the role of local structure, local authority, local community, local government in tourism planning in Thailand and Macau. Because based on your explanation, I realized that it's very strong top-down approach that we have government and actually the different government that influence tourism planning have some policies for tourism development, even for example, in Thailand, for second-tier cities, government decided to promote and for Macau, for example, to preserve cultural legacy, community and local government and local people has no significant role. And even when we talk about an integrated governance ecosystem, we look at this governance ecosystem between different government departments and ministries, not actually creating a decision-making process and monitoring in destination level and local level. So what do you see this the importance of this governance ecosystem, and what's actually current status of voice of local people and local community and local government in tourism planning in both Thailand and Macau?
Thanks, Mustafa. Eve or Kay, did you want to
Yeah.
start?
Okay, I can start first. Yes, thank you, Mustafa, for your question. Probably it's more complicated in Thailand than in Macau, because Macau is really a small place. Now, but having said that, yes, the message from the governments has always been very clear. What is the strategy? What are we trying to achieve? And all companies, residents, community, schools, we direct toward the same direction. But having said that, in the past 10 years, I have observed the one thing which is very good is that the government tries to, before they establish like 5-year planning, they do consultation. And they set up booths and they hold meetings. They invite different level of people, different people from all walks to voice out. Some of the booths are in resident area, now even near the busiest area where people can pass. Now, how do I know this? Because one of my very small opinion, I published in somewhere, and then they also, I found it in one of the consultation document. So this shows actually, this is very convincing to me that they actually do careful search about people's voice, and that's why actually I can honestly say that in Macau, all the governments, they got a very good support from the residents. So also in the past 5 years, especially during COVID, the government worked very closely with the residents and the community, and they because it's a very small place, you say something today and tomorrow people will react, something like that. And then, when people are very brave to say something and to voice out like, oh, life is getting tougher, things are getting more expensive. And then the government will do something to protect and to react to all the voices and all the initiatives. If you have heard in Macau, this is done very, very, effectively and very good, I would say.
Kay, your thoughts?
Thank you very much. I think it's almost similar to Macau as well. Thank Eve to highlight that as well, because Thailand is because we are bigger, but I think the process is similar. But after COVID-19, it's pretty much like clear that every single plan, I can say like from the top down or even bottom up, we need to have like the stakeholder engagement, and it's the requirement. So a give example, like the national agenda, normally we have like 20-year plan, we have 5-year in rows, and every single 5 years we have the revise and revision of the plan. And every time it takes almost like 9 months, to go with the stakeholder engagement. They have a lot of workshop. They have like, until like, even we're talking about the positioning of the provincial level. Every single provinces, they have to do to have the process of, or process of the stakeholder analysis where they can raise what they want and need as well, and they can say yes and no as well. So that is kind of the requirement, and I right now working with that procedure, and I'm part of the consult, so that I can see right now in the TOR, and every single TOR you have to have at least like 4 to 5 stakeholder engaged, and you have to realize the need and want from the grounds. So, but I can say that, it's not like, I mean, because it's something new as well. I mean, new for me means that we need to have a proper procedure, because when we listen to many people, they have another issue. They have another challenge as well when we go to the stakeholder identification, and we have like stakeholder mapping, document mapping, and everything. But I do agree that it actually works well. I mean, it's better than before. It used to be like top down. But now even we try to integrate all planning. So that's why I said I raised that the research recommendation is supposed to be integrated governance, which is we want to have a clear model of how we integrate and be more flexible with the procedure. Because in Thailand, from the government agency, they have their like, they kind of have the very clear direction of their KPI. But how we cross KPI, that's the issue. But the issue is not about how to link to the stakeholder and listen to them. That is a very normal for us now. But the problem is about how, when you get the requirement and fit into the project, and the project linked to the national agenda, that is need to have a very good systematic structure of how to make it more flexible. I think I saw one model in Netherlands, because try to study about the co-creative governance, which is a very, very unique, that they also engage with the stakeholder. But I think they are more flexible in terms of they don't have much hierarchical, but because of Thai culture and Asia culture, they have respect senior. They have like, make sure that they can be voice out these, or just something like that we have to train our consultants, like academics, that have to make clear that we don't care about hierarchy. We have to be direct to the prime minister or director or the people who have power. So we call them that they are inclusive. They are the same level. They will voice out their voice after. Then everyone can be themselves. Because otherwise, if you don't know the technique of how to run the workshop, that will be another issue. And the policy and plan will be totally different from you keep out the powerful interfere one out, and then later on you groom them to understand the procedure that we really need to change the countries. We don't want to have only one direction, but we need integrate direction where we make decision together. So that's why right now, I think last 2 years I see change, but the trainer and the person who run these types of national agenda, they need to have experience to understand this issue too. I hope I answer.
Thank
I'm
you very
sorry.
much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question as well.
Thank you. I think that it's an interesting discussion around orchestration of people and resources in a time where obviously a lot of things are evolving. As you were mentioning that, Kate, about the different levels of governance, I think a lot of us, particularly where I am, waking up to a new government, a new parliament in the state this week. So we are also going through this process as well. And a bigger project for us is things like the Olympics, which is another 8 years. and that's on a totally different scheme of things. So thank you again, Eve and Kay, for your sharing. I wonder if there's anyone else with questions that you wanted to raise, or you could use the chat function. Just monitoring the chat as well. If not, well, just want to thank everyone here for your time and this hour. I did promise I'll end on time. Return 1 minute back to your afternoon or morning. So thank you again, Eve and Kay, for your time of sharing. This webinar is recorded, so it will be uploaded and disseminated over the journals, different platforms. Once again, your time and inputs to this sharing around social impacts, governance, looking at cooperation networks, how we address sustainability, climate change, and many other areas. A timely reminder for all of us in our respective destinations, and how the tourism continues to be impactful and bringing hopefully positive impacts in advancing some of the wider goals for the different destinations. My name is Aaron, signing off from the JHTM webinar this week, and I wish you all the very best in your careers and the end of the year. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you.